Ever wondered why some people seem to effortlessly navigate toxic relationships while others get caught in an endless cycle of drama? The secret might lie in an ancient philosophy that's making a modern comeback. Welcome to the world of Stoicism, where age-old wisdom meets cutting-edge psychology to help you deal with the most challenging personalities in your life. Imagine having a mental toolkit that not only shields you from toxic behavior, but also transforms your interactions with difficult people. That's exactly what we'll explore in this video. We'll dive into 7 brain-based strategies rooted in Stoic principles and backed by psychological research, giving you the upper hand in any toxic encounter. Before we embark on this journey of personal growth and resilience, I want to remind you that your engagement fuels this channel. If you find value in what you're about to learn, don't forget to leave a comment, hit that like button, and subscribe for more Stoic wisdom in your daily life. Now, let's unlock the secrets to dealing with toxic people like a true Stoic sage. The toxic tango. Understanding the dance. Let's face it, we've all encountered that person who seems to thrive on chaos, leaving a trail of emotional wreckage in their wake. But what exactly makes someone toxic? Toxic individuals often display a pattern of behaviors that consistently undermine, manipulate, or harm others. They're the emotional vampires, the constant critics, the passive-aggressive experts who leave you feeling drained and questioning your own sanity. The impact of these toxic relationships can be far-reaching and profound. Psychologists have found that prolonged exposure to toxic behavior can lead to increased stress, anxiety, and even physical health problems. It's like being caught in an emotional quicksand. The more you struggle, the deeper you sink. These interactions can erode your self-esteem, distort your perception of healthy relationships, and even rewire your brain's stress response systems. But here's where Stoicism offers a lifeline. The ancient Stoics, like Marcus Aurelius and Epictetus, understood that while we can't control others' actions, we have complete dominion over our reactions. This fundamental principle is the cornerstone of dealing with toxic people. By focusing on what's within our control, our thoughts, judgments, and responses, we can break free from the toxic tango. The Stoic perspective teaches us to view toxic behavior not as a personal attack, but as a reflection of the other person's inner turmoil. As Epictetus wisely said, "When any person harms you or speaks badly of you, remember that he acts or speaks from a supposition of its being his duty." This shift in viewpoint doesn't excuse toxic behavior, but it does give us the emotional distance needed to respond rather than react. Mind over madness, the power of cognitive reframing. Picture this. You're at a family gathering and your ever-critical aunt starts her usual tirade about your life choices. Your heart races, palms sweat, and you're ready to explode. But what if you could flip a mental switch and change your entire experience? That's the power of cognitive reframing, and it's our first brainy weapon against toxic people. Cognitive reframing is a psychological technique that involves identifying and then changing the way situations, experiences, events, ideas, and emotions are viewed. It's like putting on a pair of glasses that suddenly makes everything clearer. When dealing with toxic people, reframing allows us to step back and reassess the situation from a different angle, often leading to more constructive outcomes. The process works by challenging our automatic thoughts and replacing them with more balanced, realistic ones. For instance, instead of thinking, "My aunt hates me and thinks I'm a failure," you might reframe it as, "My aunt's criticism likely stems from her own insecurities or outdated beliefs about success." This shift doesn't change your aunt's behavior, but it dramatically alters your emotional response and ability to handle the situation. Stoicism offers powerful techniques for cognitive reframing that dovetail beautifully with modern psychology. The Stoic practice of negative visualization, for example, involves imagining worst-case scenarios to gain perspective on current challenges. When dealing with a toxic coworker, you might visualize losing your job. Suddenly, their petty office politics seem less threatening in comparison. Another Stoic reframing technique is the view from above. Imagine floating high above your current situation, seeing it as a tiny part of the vast cosmos. Your toxic friend's drama becomes insignificant in this grand perspective. Marcus Aurelius advised, "You have the power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." To practice cognitive reframing, start by identifying your automatic thoughts when dealing with toxic people. Write them down, then challenge each one. Ask yourself, is this thought realistic? Is there another way to view this situation? What would I tell a friend in this scenario? With practice, you'll rewire your brain to naturally adopt more balanced, Stoic-inspired perspectives, turning toxic encounters into opportunities for personal growth and emotional mastery. Emotional Aikido, redirecting negative energy. Did you know that emotions are contagious? Studies show that we can catch feelings from others in less than 300 milliseconds. This emotional contagion is why toxic people can be so draining. They're literally infecting us with their negativity. But what if we could turn this phenomenon on its head and use it to our advantage? Enter emotional Aikido, a concept inspired by the Japanese martial art that focuses on redirecting an opponent's energy. In the realm of psychology, emotional contagion is the tendency for people to automatically mimic and synchronize expressions, vocalizations, postures and movements with those of another person, and consequently, to converge emotionally. By understanding this process, we can learn to redirect negative emotional energy rather than absorbing it. The key to emotional Aikido lies in maintaining your own emotional equilibrium while subtly influencing the emotional tone of the interaction. Instead of meeting anger with anger or frustration with frustration, you respond with calm assertiveness or even positivity. This unexpected response can disrupt the toxic person's negative emotional momentum and potentially shift the entire dynamic of the conversation. Stoicism provides a solid foundation for this practice. The Stoic virtue of temperance or self-control is crucial in maintaining emotional stability in the face of toxicity. As Epictetus advised, make the best use of what is in your power and take the rest as it happens. This mindset allows us to focus on our own emotional state rather than getting caught up in the toxic person's drama. To practice emotional Aikido, try these exercises. 1. Deep breathing. When faced with a toxic person, take slow, deep breaths to center yourself. 2. Emotional labeling. Identify and name the emotions you're experiencing to gain distance from them. 3. Positive visualization. Before difficult interactions, visualize yourself responding calmly and confidently. 4. Empathy practice. Try to understand the underlying emotions driving the toxic behavior without accepting it. Remember, the goal isn't to change the toxic person, but to change how their energy affects you. By mastering emotional Aikido, you'll not only protect yourself from negativity, but also become a source of positive emotional contagion. As Marcus Aurelius put it, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. The art of tactical empathy. Disarming with understanding. Have you ever considered that understanding your enemy might be the key to defeating them? This isn't about letting toxic people off the hook. It's about gaining a strategic advantage through the art of tactical empathy. Tactical empathy, a term coined by former FBI hostage negotiator Chris Voss, is the practice of understanding another person's feelings and mindset to improve your strategic position. It's not about agreeing with toxic behavior or excusing it. Rather, it's about recognizing the emotions and motivations driving that behavior, which gives you more control over the interaction. At its core, tactical empathy involves actively listening and demonstrating that you understand the other person's perspective, even if you don't agree with it. This approach can be disarming, as it often catches toxic individuals off guard. They're used to provoking strong reactions, so when met with understanding, they may become less defensive and more open to constructive dialogue. Stoicism provides a powerful framework for cultivating this kind of empathy. The Stoics emphasized the importance of understanding human nature, including its flaws. Marcus Aurelius advised, "When you wake up in the morning, tell yourself, 'The people I deal with today will be meddling, ungrateful, arrogant, dishonest, jealous, and surly.' This isn't cynicism, but a realistic acknowledgement of human imperfection that allows for greater empathy. To practice tactical empathy, try these Stoic-inspired approaches. 1. Perspective taking. Imagine the toxic person's life circumstances. What might have shaped their behavior? 2. Validate without agreeing. Use phrases like, "I can see why you might feel that way," without endorsing their actions. 3. Seek understanding. Ask questions to gain insight into their perspective, even if you disagree. 4. Practice premeditatio malorum. Anticipate difficult interactions and prepare empathetic responses in advance. Remember, tactical empathy is a tool, not a surrender. By understanding the toxic person's emotional landscape, you gain valuable intelligence that can help you navigate the interaction more effectively. As Epictetus said, "We have 2 ears and 1 mouth so that we can listen twice as much as we speak." In mastering tactical empathy, you'll find that sometimes the most powerful response to toxicity is simply to listen and understand. Boundaries, your psychological force field. Imagine having an invisible shield that protects you from toxic behavior, allowing you to engage with difficult people without being drained or damaged. That's essentially what psychological boundaries do. They're your personal force field in the battlefield of human interaction. In psychological terms, boundaries are the limits we set with other people, which indicate what we find acceptable and unacceptable in their behavior towards us. They're not just arbitrary rules, but crucial safeguards for our mental and emotional well-being. Research has shown that individuals with healthy boundaries tend to have higher self-esteem, better relationships, and lower stress levels. Setting and maintaining boundaries isn't about building walls. It's about creating gates that you control. It's deciding when to open up and when to close off, based on what's healthy for you. With toxic people, these boundaries become especially critical. They help you maintain your sense of self and prevent the toxic person's negative influence from seeping into your psyche. Stoicism offers powerful principles for establishing healthy boundaries. The Stoic concept of dichotomy of control is particularly relevant here. Epictetus taught, "Some things are in our control and others not." By focusing on what we can control, our own thoughts, actions, and reactions, we naturally create boundaries against external negativity. Here are some Stoic-inspired techniques for setting boundaries with toxic people. 1. Clarify your values. Define what's important to you and what behavior you will and won't accept. 2. Communicate clearly. Express your boundaries calmly and assertively, without anger or apology. 3. Be consistent. Enforce your boundaries consistently to make them effective. 4. Practice self-care. Prioritize your well-being, even if it means limiting contact with toxic individuals. Remember, setting boundaries isn't selfish. It's necessary for healthy relationships and personal growth. As Marcus Aurelius wisely noted, you always own the option of having no opinion. There is never any need to get worked up or to trouble your soul about things you can't control. By establishing clear boundaries, you're exercising this option and preserving your inner tranquility in the face of toxicity. The Zen of Detachment, Mastering Emotional Independence. In the 6th century BCE, the Buddha taught that attachment is the root of all suffering. Fast forward to today, and this ancient wisdom is more relevant than ever when dealing with toxic people. But what exactly is detachment, and how can it be your secret weapon against negativity? Psychological detachment doesn't mean becoming cold or uncaring. Instead, it's about maintaining a healthy emotional distance that allows you to engage with others without being overly affected by their moods, opinions, or behaviors. It's the ability to observe and interact without becoming emotionally entangled. Research has shown that individuals who practice emotional detachment experience less stress, better work-life balance, and improved overall well-being. The benefits of detachment are particularly potent when dealing with toxic people. By not allowing their negativity to penetrate your emotional core, you remain centered and in control. You're able to respond thoughtfully rather than react impulsively. This emotional independence is like having a superpower in toxic interactions. You can engage without being engulfed. Stoicism, with its emphasis on focusing on what's within our control, provides excellent guidance for cultivating detachment. The Stoic philosopher Epictetus taught, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." This principle is at the heart of emotional detachment. By recognizing that we can't control others' actions but can control our responses, we free ourselves from the emotional roller coaster of toxic relationships. Here are some Stoic-inspired practices for cultivating detachment. 1. Mindful observation. Practice observing your thoughts and emotions without judgment. 2. Reframe attachments. Ask yourself, is this within my control? If not, practice letting go. 3. Visualize distance. Imagine viewing the toxic interaction from a distance, as if watching a movie. 4. Practice indifference to insults. As Marcus Aurelius advised, the best revenge is to be unlike him who performed the injury. Remember, detachment isn't about disconnecting from life or relationships. It's about engaging fully while maintaining your emotional sovereignty. As you master this skill, you'll find yourself navigating toxic waters with grace and ease, your inner peace undisturbed by the storms around you. Assertiveness, your verbal armor. I am Groot. In the Marvel universe, this simple phrase carries a multitude of meanings, depending on how it's delivered. Similarly, assertiveness is about how you deliver your message. It's your verbal armor against toxic behavior. Assertiveness is a communication style characterized by a confident declaration of one's needs, wants, and boundaries without infringing upon the rights of others. It's the sweet spot between passive doormat and aggressive bulldozer. Psychologists have long recognized assertiveness as a crucial skill for mental health and positive relationships. When dealing with toxic people, it becomes your shield and sword, protecting you from manipulation while clearly stating your position. The psychology of assertive communication is rooted in self-respect and respect for others. It involves expressing yourself honestly and directly while also considering the feelings and views of others. This balance is what makes assertiveness so powerful. It allows you to stand your ground without escalating conflict, a particularly useful skill when navigating toxic interactions. Stoicism, with its emphasis on virtue and rational thought, provides an excellent framework for cultivating assertiveness. The Stoic concept of speaking plainly and honestly aligns perfectly with assertive communication. As Marcus Aurelius advised, never esteem anything as of advantage to you that will make you break your word or lose your self-respect. Here are some Stoic-inspired assertiveness techniques. 1. Use I statements. Express your feelings and needs directly. I feel disrespected when you speak to me that way. 2. Practice the broken record technique. Calmly repeat your position without getting drawn into arguments. 3. Embrace silence. Don't feel pressured to fill conversational gaps. Let your words carry weight. 4. Maintain composure. As Epictetus said, no man is free who is not master of himself. Stay calm and collected. Remember, assertiveness is a skill that can be learned and refined. Start with small interactions and gradually build up to more challenging situations. With practice, you'll develop a verbal armor that allows you to engage with toxic people while maintaining your dignity and peace of mind. As you master this skill, you might find yourself saying, "I am Groot," but meaning, "I am assertive, I am strong, and I am in control of this interaction." The power of purposeful disengagement, knowing when to walk away. Picture a chess grandmaster, several moves ahead, realizing the game is unwinnable. Does he stubbornly play on, or does he gracefully tip his king and concede? Sometimes, the most powerful move in dealing with toxic people is knowing when to disengage. Disengagement isn't about giving up or admitting defeat. It's a strategic decision to preserve your mental and emotional resources. In psychology, this concept is often referred to as detached coping or strategic withdrawal. It's recognizing that not every battle needs to be fought, and not every toxic person can or should be fixed. Identifying when a relationship has become unsalvageable is crucial. Signs may include consistent boundary violations, emotional manipulation, or a persistent negative impact on your well-being. If you find yourself constantly drained, anxious, or compromising your values, it might be time to consider disengagement. Stoicism offers profound wisdom on the art of letting go. Epictetus taught, "There is only one way to happiness, and that is to cease worrying about things which are beyond the power of our will." This principle applies perfectly to toxic relationships. We can't control others' behavior, but we can control our response, including the decision to walk away. When disengaging, consider these Stoic-inspired approaches. 1. Reflect on your values. Is this relationship aligned with your principles? 2. Practice acceptance. Acknowledge that you can't change the other person. 3. Focus on self-improvement. Channel your energy into personal growth instead. 4. Cultivate indifference. As Marcus Aurelius said, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. Remember, disengagement isn't failure, it's a courageous act of self-preservation. By choosing to walk away from toxic situations, you're reclaiming your power and opening yourself to healthier, more fulfilling relationships. I hope you found these Stoic-inspired strategies helpful in dealing with toxic people. If you've made it this far, write Stoic Warrior in the comments. New to the channel, Hit that subscribe button for more practical wisdom. Until next time, stay strong and stoic.